report shows the fertility rate in the United States is at its lowest level in more than a century, and that's according to data from the CDC's National Center for Health Statistics. It found between 2022 and 2023, there was a 3% drop in the number of births. That's around 54 births for every 1,000 women. That is just below the previous low from 2020, which was 56 births for every 1,000 women of reproductive age. Experts say factors for this include more women deciding to wait to get pregnant, along with the economic downturn.
You don't find that suspicious? You don't find that suspicious?
What's going on YouTube? It's your boy Rome back with another video. If you're new to the platform, welcome to the tribe. By the end of this video, I hope you subscribe. So I've been coming across a lot of clips lately about the fertility rate dropping. As you guys know, this has been an ongoing thing for the past few years now, what seems to be about a decade or so. But it seems to have finally caught the attention of the government. Check this out.
Congress just warned the United States on how the infertility rates have been drastically dropping, and just within the next few years, there will actually be more deaths than births.
We got a problem. And it's all something almost no one here ever talks about. We're not having children. The United States fertility rates have collapsed. This number's wrong. It's our latest number for last year is not 1.64, it's 1.63. France has a higher fertility rate than the United States. Even when you adjust for their immigration population, they still have a dramatically higher fertility. Most of Western Europe looks like us, and we're worse than a whole bunch of the world. How do you and I set public policy so 25 years from now, remember, Social Security is substantially a pay-as-you-go system. Today's workers are functionally paying for today's retirees. The trust fund was the shock absorber. Trust fund is disappearing. But my future generation of workers is going to be smaller. And you're already seeing this in school districts all over America, where the number of students they have are shrinking. Are we willing to have the really interesting discussion of, okay, are there things we could do economically to make it so family formation, so there's more children? There's things we could do to help, but almost every country it's tried has not been able to change fertility rates. There's, I think in Hungary, I think I saw something that, third child, they buy you a house, fourth child, you get some sort of like prize. And it's barely ticked up their fertility rates. It's a really difficult question happening all over the industrialized world. So if you can't really change it, do you actually build public policy to deal with it?
Well, we can start with inflation. That's the most obvious one. That's the one nobody really wants to talk about. Y'all can't sit over here and continue to increase the price of living and expect people to have more children. The math ain't mathing on that one. And y'all really haven't raised wages like that in order to match the raise in cost of living. So in the perfect world, if we had 2003, 2004 prices, which would have been about 20 years ago, because I remember I graduated in 2003, and I'm from Cincinnati, Ohio, because I know gas prices vary depending on what part of the country you stay in. I remember when gas was barely over $1 a gallon in Cincinnati, Ohio. Barely over $1 a gallon. I used to be able to fill my tank up on $20, sometimes less than that. So when you consider gas, food, like I remember when cartons of egg used to be cents on the dollar. I'm like, and you see how much they are now. They've came down a little bit, but still. So the government, this is y'all fault. But to be honest with you, I'm really not surprised, because if any of y'all are a conspiracy theorist like I am, the government, they and people, the real people in charge of the world, they've been trying to pull strings to depopulate, depopulate the earth for the longest now, and I think this is just one of their tactics that they've been trying to use. On top of the fact that the more you keep people from building families, the more taxpayers you have as well. That's another factor as well that a lot of people look over. Let's keep it moving.
I love how radical feminists think that the declining birth rate is always a standard for an argument, but literally it benefits men. And men don't give a fuck about the declining birth rate.
We do not care.
I think it's absolutely hilarious that the radical feminists now want to preach about how they're controlling the birth rate because they're not sleeping with men, but they forget that there is always going to be women who are easy that are going to sleep with men. Always.
If Jesus can't save these hoes, why are you trying? What make you think you greater than Jesus, nigga?
And why the fuck would men care about the birth rate? They're the ones paying into child support, so if anything, you're doing them a freaking favor. But not only that, is who controls the narrative of who proposes to who. It is men who propose to women, and men have opted out of marriage altogether because they don't want to lose all of their shit in a divorce, especially to these greedy-ass women who don't even want to give the men 50-50 custody. And the funny thing about it is that they will leave the good men that provide for them for younger dudes who are easier to manipulate. But I digress. Birth rate declining and women opting out of not dating men is actually a gift to the men, and they don't even realize it. Because women consistently seek for this unconditional love that they cannot find through anything else other than a man. And men provide the children. And children will always provide that unconditional love that they can't get anywhere else other than their cats, which is why they end up lonely cat women and think that they're happier about that, which is a fucking lie. And the irony of all of this is that all of they're doing is perpetuating the cycle of single mothers, because now men don't have to get married. They don't have to court women. They don't have to do fucking anything, but there will always be women out here that want to sleep with men, period. Even if it's not for reproducing. And all it's really doing is taking away the burden off of men that pay into child support, that pay into government funded programs, or anything having to do with taxpayer dollars. Men pay more into that, so y'all are doing men more favors than you actually think you are. Okay, bye.
And I agree 100%. That's why when I heard about the 4B movement, I was like, dude, that's going to fall flat on its face, because I'm like, men have already checked out. We have more virgins in the history as far as they've been keeping track of virgins. Like 30% of men under 30 or under, haven't had sex in the last year or are virgins. That's crazy. Meanwhile, women are pretty much having sex at the same rate. Like, so what does that tell you? That there is a lopsidedness in the dating market. And women know it. That's why they're over here pissed off so much. And all they can do is just try to tell men to be better. But it's like, no, reality is that most of y'all are just going after a small percentage of men. Let's keep it moving.
Look at this. You see this? Mm-hmm. Fertility rates in the U.S. are dropping, y'all. We're going extinct like the dinosaurs. It's going to happen. So this comes from the CDC. Let me read this really quick, okay? It says that just under 3.6 million babies were born last year, a 2% decline. The birth rate was at around 1.6 births per 1,000 women, lower than the 2% needed to sustain a population. It's the lowest number of births since 1979 and the lowest fertility rate ever recorded. I'm going to tell you why. It's too damn expensive to have kids. Nobody can afford to have kids. This is your fault. This is your fault, America. This is whoever's in charge running the show. This is your fault because things are just too pricey. Think about the cost of pacifiers and diapers and strollers and baby socks, okay, and doctor's visits and Similac. And taking time off of work because you got to make sure to care for the baby. Then you think about as the baby ages, you think about college funds and savings and investments and all these things that you have to do to raise children. Daycare costs, like nobody can afford to have kids. No matter how much money you make, it just seems impossible to afford to have children. That's why. So guess what? We get what we deserve, humans. We're going extinct. We're done. It's over for us. Had to happen to the dinosaurs and every other species that walk the planet. It's definitely going to happen to us. It was nice. It was nice, y'all. But bye-bye. Bye.
Not having children. United States fertility rates have collapsed.
Not the US being a self-sabotaging queen. How are you going to increase the price of everything and still expect people to freely have children? How are you going to let these men be online, giving them access to these mics? And you are here complaining that women are not having children, that the US is not having children. And it's so rude to refer people as numbers, your generational workers, next generation workers. What kind of nonsense is that? I need to move to a different country.
Right, and then women like you wonder why passport bros exist and why they're going to countries, because she sound like clearly she's not from the United States. So wherever she's from, I wouldn't be surprised if that's probably a brother over there looking for a wife. This is what I'm talking about: cost of living. And this is why when women from other countries be like, I want to come and live in the United States, and y'all got opportunities over there. Here's a good example of what we mean when we tell y'all ain't gonna be so crazy about going to the United States. Yeah, it may be easy for you to get work, but the cost of living is so ridiculous that you can't really even enjoy the fruits of your labor, which is another reason why passport bros exist. Let's keep it moving.
It turns out that the U.S. birth rate is continuing decline, as nearly half of women under 45 are childless. And that should surprise no one, especially if you're listening to this podcast, as I've been telling women that there is a war on fertility, really since the 1970s, since the rise of birth control pills and turning hormones into your body and telling women that they shouldn't want to have children and that they should go to work and that they should aspire to take care of their husbands or their children or to be the CEOs of their homes, all things that are aspirational and wonderful. Listen to this podcast, I've been telling you that the government is in fact anti-family and you should not trust the government, least of all with your ovaries and your fertility. But what do I know? Why would you think that putting hormones into your body every day is a good thing for decades and decades and decades? And of course, what this is lending to are a bunch of women who are having fertility struggles.
And like I said before, and I've said this in previous videos when it comes to this particular topic, I really think this is all done by design. You know, everybody ain't a conspiracy theorist like me. If you don't believe in the Freemasons and the Illuminati and secret societies, the Bilderberg group, I can go on and take you down a deep rabbit hole that you probably don't want to go down. You want to talk about really being unplugged? Like, I could really put you on and get you unplugged, man. I'll tell you some stuff that you wish you never found out. But point being is that these people have wanted to figure out a way to depopulate the earth for a long time, and I think this is one of those ways of doing it. I think this is another reason why COVID happened. Like I said, I'm a bit of a theorist, but you know, other people might be think differently, and that's fine, man. I ain't gonna sit over here and fall out with you about it. But, you know, I just believe in connecting the dots and finding the truth. But y'all let me know what y'all think about this. If you're new to the platform, please subscribe. OGs, I appreciate the love and support. Make sure y'all hit that bell notification. That way y'all know what I'm uploading. Hit the like button because that helps with the algorithm and helps me reach a broader audience. Also, look out for the travel vlog channel, Unplugged Traveler. Link is in the description. Until the next video, y'all. Deuces.